Welcome. My name is Keith, your man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and hopefully, at the very least, a bit of entertainment. I hope this makes your day just a little bit better, as my bud Wintercraft would say. Um, Take your shoes off, stay a while. We're going to be reading a highly suggested book on the occult science of chaos magic. Chaos magic being the eclectic middle child of the spirit world is chaos magic. It's like it's a little bit of everything. Uh, they take what they need, they leave the rest. They don't get too entranced in any one particular idea. They like them all. So like they're the type of people that graft 16 different stone fruit to a pear tree. You know what I mean? This one's called Liber Null and the Psychonaut by Carroll, I think, by Peter Carroll. And on a few different lists, this one popped up a whole bunch of times, so I took it. It's very short. This might be a good book to do a nice proper full audiobook on because, well, it's short and comes highly recommended. I'm stoked. Hello everyone, Anara Phoenix. How's it going? Wayne J, good day. Oh, hello Australia. Hello, good morning Australia. Good morning tomorrow. Good tomorrow morning, I think. Something like that. Yeah. So the chaos magicians enjoy, they bask in the ambience that is sigil work. The chaos magicians, which I appreciate, they get into the psychology behind the craft of occultism and the power the mind specifically has to play on the creation of our reality. So it definitely coincides with all our becoming more, exceedingly more traditional as the days go by. Our mind creates reality, right? So we're already on par with everything that's going on. Um, and their love, the chaos magician's love for sigils, is a direct play on that. If you guys have been following this channel for a while, you will know that we go deep into the science of the mind, the subconscious mind, and the conscious mind. And the sigil work is planting seeds inside of that subconscious mind so that we, on a more passive level, emanate the frequency which we are, stronger, with more amplitude and with more range, so that we can begin to evoke, stimulate to life those things in which we want to become. Not attract, become. Without further ado, you guys ready for me to start reading? Everyone, before I start reading, you're gonna have to hit the like button so that we can build a cathedral and do Man of Letters live readings in person with a live Gregorian band or Gregorian orchestra. How about this for a goal, for a YouTube success goal? Have my YouTube be so successful that I have enough money to purchase my own chapel. I'll do live readings in person, and we'll have a live Gregorian gospel or Gregorian choir playing in the background. What do you guys think? Um, Midday morning. Okay, there we go. Oh, Rusty Utter. Hello, Rusty. Thank you so much, Rusty. You're already a channel member, Rusty. You didn't have to throw in the extra $10. But I thank you. Thank you. Hello from California, Rachel Stevens. I didn't know you're from East Texas. Hello, hello, hello. All right, we're gonna start reading, everybody. Should I just read all, like the author's note and stuff like that too? Author's note on The Occult Sciences, Volume 2, Liber Null and the Psychonauts. Author's note. Liber Null was written for the serious occult student and therefore contains some powerful rituals. These rituals and exercises should be performed by readers who are in good health. If one suffers from heart disease, epilepsy, or any chronic disease, please do not use the material in this book. The author and the publisher will not accept any responsibility for misuse, nor will they accept any responsibility for anything that may occur when readers use the exercises discussed here. I love a good occult book that comes with a warning. The last thing I read that came with a warning was a meditation on built around building up Kundalini energy. Also came with a similar warning and was well meant because I experienced some of the things that it talked about, like feeling like I was going crazy inside of my head in particular. So with that being said, if it comes with if the occult book you're reading comes with a warning, run it. Run it. What's IoT stand for? What's IoT stand for in Chaos Magic? I feel like I'm already falling behind. Someone help me out. It says, I hope I don't feel real silly, but the magic of the IoT is an intensely practical, personal, experimental art. Two major themes run through this book. That altered states of consciousness are the key to unlocking one's magical abilities, and that these abilities can be developed without any symbolic system except reality itself. The magical style of thinking is explored with chapters on alternative belief and the alphabet of desire. A natural inclination toward the darker side of magic is as good a point as any from which to begin the ultimate quest. And half this book is devoted to the black arts. Racist. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, Rusty. Independently of ancient dusty books and mystification, the vital elements of many traditions conspire here to create a living art. The Illuminates of Thanateros are the magical heirs to the Zos Ki Occultas and the A... A. This book, written originally as a source book for the IoT, someone please tell me what IoT stands for, it is now being released for those who wish to work alone and for those seeking admission to the order. Although the initiate is referred to as he throughout, the reader should understand that this is merely in keeping with the traditional style of magical texts of this type, and that this course of study by no means excludes women. I mean, obviously, but sure. I hope. All right. Keith, what's your opinion on the book, The Apocalypse of... I haven't read it, Wayne Jane. I'm sorry. I haven't read it. Illuminates of... Oh, Dee Dee, thank you. Which we just read, The Illuminates of Thanateros. Okay. So the Order and the Quest. The secrets of magic are universal and of such a practical physical nature as to defy simple explanation. Those beings who realize and practice such secrets are said to have achieved mastership. Masters will, at various points in history, inspire adepts to create magic, mystic, religious, or even secular orders to bring others to mastership. Do you guys mind if I do commentaries while I read, or should I just read? Because I'm already like, oh, well, I'll just give this one, and if you don't want me to do it, tell me. So, I love that it says masters will at various points in history inspire adepts to create magic, mystic, religious, or even secular orders to bring others to mastership, which is something that the Hermeticism falls into heavily. Is I do not want this to be a religion, because the moment something is accepted as a religion, it becomes dogmatic, and the moment something becomes dogmatic, individual thought goes out the window because the individual accepts the ideologies of the religion. You are a Christian, therefore, on average, the average Christian will have a certain set of beliefs regardless of how they feel about something. We see this in politics. If you're a Republican, you're just going to vote Republican. You'll tend to vote Republican just because you share those ideologies. It's not a bad thing necessarily, right? We're humans. We like comfort. We like what's familiar. You know, we don't want to overthink. We want to simplify as much as we can. So it's like, yeah, those are my homies. If they say we're going somewhere, then I guess we're going. I trust them, right? So it's not a bad thing. Point being, something like this takes a lot of individual thought. Something like studying the occult practices takes a lot of undoing things that we've learned, or reorganizing the things that we've learned, and reorganizing them into ways that make sense, that we can actually pull from so that our lessons are practical, and get a bigger picture of our past, of ourselves. It doesn't matter. It's in the past. Anywho, let's finish at least this one and a half page. Anywho, point being, this book also says that. It says, I don't care if you make a religion, I don't care if you make a secular, which is non-religious, I don't care if you make a school, I don't care if you make mystic, a magic school, a secular school, just bring the knowledge to the people. So, and then it goes on to say, such orders have at certain times openly called themselves the Illuminati. At other times, secrecy has seemed more prudent. The mysteries can only be preserved by constant revelation. In this, the IoT continues a tradition perhaps 7,000 years old. Yet the order in the outer has no history, although it is constituted as a satrap of the Illuminati. In the order with no past, there is nowhere to conceal the future from the present. It takes its name from the gods of sex, Eros, and death, Thanatos. Apart from being humanity's two greatest obsessions and motivating forces, sex and death represent the positive and negative methods of attaining magical consciousness. Illumination refers to the inspiration, enlightenment, and liberation resulting from success with these methods, which is, they go with death and sex, but sex traditionally produces life. So they're just they're just having a more interesting approach to life. I can get behind that. No pun intended. I will never grow up. I won't. I try. The specific purpose for which the IoT is the specific purpose for which the IoT is constituted is to help determine in what form as yet embryonic fifth eon will manifest. Interesting. Its task, although historic, consists in disseminating magical knowledge to individuals. For at no time since the first eon has humanity stood in such need of these abilities to see its way forward. Agreed. There is no formal hierarchy in the IoT. There is a division of activity depending on ability as it develops, as it should. Students strengthen their magical will against the strongest possible adversary, their own minds. They explore the possibilities of changing themselves at will and explore their own occult abilities in dream and magical activity. Initiates familiarize themselves with all forms of occult attainment and seek to perfect themselves in some peculiar form of magic. They should also find others capable of aspiring to the order and offer them help. Adepts seek perfection in all aspects of personal magical power, wisdom, and liberation. Masters seek to realize the aims of the order by whatever forms of action or non-action they deem appropriate. Diagram 1 is an exposition of the survival of magical traditions from the first eon to the fifth. For an extended discussion of the eonics involved, consult the Millennium on page 88. I love practicing my trance state. Ooh, Asm. Sounds like we have our first subtle chaos magician making their ways in. Hello, Azim 987654321. Oh, hello, Brandy. Nice to see you on the live. Let me know if I should read the book you're suggesting, though. What book did you suggest? I don't know what it was, but let me know what that book was. I'm down. Oh, thank you, Dee. Thank you. I read like I would want someone to read to myself, and then every time I read, I try to do it better because I'll watch myself reading and I go, Keith, you can do light years better than that. But for some reason, I feel like I'm already killing it live. Anywho, the struggle. If you guys are artists, to any degree, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Liber, This course is an exercise in the disciplines of magical trance. Are you reading along, Azim? Because we literally are getting into magical trance, or are you just that savage? Are you just that savage of a chaos magician where you planted the seed? Did you set this whole thing up? Would I have knocked over the jar had you not said anything, Azim? Anywho, this course is an exercise in the disciplines of magical trance, a form of mind control having similarities to yoga, personal metamorphoses, and basic techniques of magic. Success with these techniques is a prerequisite for any real progress with the initiate third degree syllabus. A magical diary is the magician's most essential and powerful tool. It should be large enough to allow a full page for each day. Students should record the time, duration, and degree of success of any practice undertaken. They should make notes about environmental factors, conducive or otherwise to their work. Those wishing to notify the order of their intention to begin the work are invited to do so via the publisher. So if you guys want to join this club, write a note to the publisher. And what is that? Is of Thanos? Tell me what it was. IoT. There's something of Thanos. It was another god. Someone tell me in the comment section. LOL, I have successfully forgotten my magical sigil already. Well, we gon' remember today, good sir. Or ma'am. First, mind control. Welcome on in, everyone. Take your shoes off, stay a while. My name's Keith, and I'm reading you guys bedtime stories, maybe. Mind control. To work magic effectively, the ability to concentrate the attention must be built up until the mind can enter a trance-like condition. This is accomplished in a number of stages: absolute motionlessness of the body, regulation of the breathing, stopping of thoughts, concentration on sound, concentration on objects, and concentration on mental images. First, motionlessness. You guys might as well get your notes now and take them. I'm basically reading the book to you so you don't have to do it while hanging out at the same time. Like, get your notebook, get a pen, even better, buy a fancy notebook and buy an expensive pen so that you sort of force yourself into doing the work, because this is more than just... Anywho, I'm sorry. I'm preaching. It's the Gregorian chant in the background that's making me preach. I'm sorry. So first, motionlessness. Arrange the body in any comfortable position and try to remain in that position for as long as possible. Try not to blink. Try not to move the tongue or fingers or any part of the body at all. Do not let the mind run away on long trains of thought, but rather observe oneself passively. What appeared to be a comfortable position may become agonizing with time, but persist. Set aside some opportunity of inactivity which may arise. Record the results in the magical diary. One should... Ooh, is there a little... We got a little double imprint text here. Collector's edition. One should not be satisfied with less than 5 minutes. When 15 have been achieved, proceed to regulation of the breathing. So we got to meditate 15 minutes before we even move on to breathing for the mind control practice and chaos magic. Breathing. Stay as motionless as possible and begin to deliberately make the breathing slower and deeper. The aim is to use the entire capacity of the lungs but without any undue muscular effort or strain. The lungs may be held empty or full between exhalation and inhalation to lengthen the cycle. The important thing is that the mind should direct its complete attention to the breath cycle. When this can be done for 30 minutes, proceed to not thinking. Okay, so we're up to a 45-minute meditation so far. Or are we starting over? See, I'm already. What do you guys think? Is it 15 minutes of motionlessness and then we do 30 minutes of breathing and then we move on to not thinking? Or is it once we accomplish one, we move on to the next? I don't know. Would love it if you sold audiobooks. Would be so relaxing. I have successfully. Oh man. Oh, thank you for saying that, Azim. I would love that. I'll pin that. I'll learn how, and I'll post it. I'm selling the audiobooks. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I'll keep reading here too on lives too, in the meantime. So next on not thinking. The exercises of motionlessness and breathing may improve health, but they have no other intrinsic value aside from being a preparation for not thinking. The beginnings of the magical trance condition, while motionless and breathing deeply, begin to withdraw the mind from any thoughts. The attempt to do this inevitably reveals the mind to be a raging tempest of activity. Only the greatest determination can win even a few seconds of mental silence, but even this is a triumph. Aim for complete vigilance over the arising of thoughts and try to lengthen the periods of total silence. Like the physical motionlessness, this mental motionlessness should be practiced at set times and also whenever a period of inactivity presents itself. The results should be recorded in your diary. Okay, so it's different times. When you master motionlessness for at least 15 minutes, then you do breathing and then not thinking. I think that's how it is. Okay, next, magical trances. Magic is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. The will can only become magically effective when the mind is focused and not interfering with the will. The mind must first discipline itself to focus its entire attention on some meaningless phenomenon. If an attempt is made to focus on some form of desire, the effect is short-circuited by lust of result. Egotistical identification, fear of failure, and the reciprocal desire not to achieve desire arising from our dual nature destroy the results. I'm really enjoying chaos magic so far. I'm going to read that again. Uh, Focus our mind to first concentrate on the mundane. In other words, build the willpower, the muscle of the willpower. Build it strong enough off of practicing on mundane things because if an attempt is made to focus on some form of desire, the effect is short-circuited by lust of results. Egotistical identification, fear of failure, and the reciprocal desire not to achieve desire arising from our own dual nature destroy the result. Therefore, when selecting topics for concentration, choose subjects of no spiritual, egotistical, intellectual, emotional, or useful significance. In other words, meaningless things. Even though here they have an enormous amount of meaning, considered what's at stake. Your soul. Object concentration. The legend of the evil eye derives from the ability of wizards and sorcerers to give a fixed, dead stare. This ability can be practiced against any object. A mark on a wall, something in the distance, a star in the night, anything. To hold an object with an absolutely fixed, unwavering gaze for more than a few moments proves extraordinarily difficult. Yet it must be persisted for hours at a time. Every attempt by the eye to distort the object, every attempt by the mind to find something else to think of must be resisted. Eventually, it is possible to extract occult secrets from things by this technique alone, but the ability must be developed by working with meaningless objects. I didn't know that. The legend of the evil eye derives from the ability of wizards and sorcerers to give a fixed, dead stare. Next, sound concentration. The part of the mind in which verbal thoughts arise is brought under magical control by concentration on sounds, mentally imagined. Any simple sound of one or more syllables is selected. For example, om or abrahada, abrahadabra, abrahadabra. So it's not abradabra. Is that how you spell abradabra? Or do we say abradabra wrong? Abradabra. Okay, abradabra. Om abradabra. Yad he vau he. Om madi padme hum. Zazas zazas. Nasatanada zazas. This is the part of the official audiobook where I would just say it a million times and edit out all the mistakes, but we're live, so you're gonna have to bear with me. The chosen sound is repeated over and over to block all other thoughts. No matter how inappropriate the choice of sound may seem to have been, you must persist with the sound. Eventually, the sound may seem to repeat itself automatically, and it may even occur in sleep. These are encouraging signs. Sound concentration is the key to words of power and certain forms of spellcasting. I used to do this when I was a kid. Did you guys? I never did anything like this. Interesting. All right. Laser focus. I was taught Om in meditation before I was 2. I don't know what Anihu is. Anihu. That's why we read. Anyway. So now we're on to image concentration. Dude, we're about to be friggin' 200 mil up in this domain, in this dojo. Image concentration. The part of the mind in which pictorial thoughts arise is brought under magical control by image concentration. A simple shape, such as a triangle or a circle, a square, a cross, or a crescent, is chosen and held in the mind's eye without distortion for as long as possible. Only the most determined efforts are likely to make the imagined form persist for any time. At first, the image should be sought with the eyes closed. With practice, it can be projected onto any blank surface. This technique is the basis of casting sigils and creating independent thought forms. Tulpas? Oh man, do you guys remember the video we made on tulpas? It's been at least a year, maybe a year and a half. The 3 methods of attaining magical trance will only yield results if pursued with the most fanatical and morbid determination. These abilities are highly abnormal and usually inaccessible to human consciousness, as they demand inhuman concentration. But the rewards are great. In the magical diary, please record each day's formal work and whatever extra opportunities have been utilized. No page should be left blank. Is anyone taking notes yet? You should have many more fantasy. Maybe I'm not doing. I'm not focusing enough. That could be it. If laser focus, my focus is, my focus, my focus could mold stones, worthy of placement at the most prestigious of Pumapunku sites. My problem isn't the intensity of my laser, it's how many times that laser is fracted out into the world. I think that's a thing, right? That's so that means I have no focus at all. Is that what I'm saying? It's like 60% of the time I'm right all of the time. Is it one of those things? Is that how it works? Anywho, let us carry on. Metamorphosis. The transmutation of the mind to magical consciousness has often been called the great work. It has a far-reaching purpose leading eventually to the discovery of the true will. Even a slight ability to change oneself is more valuable than any power over the external universe. Metamorphosis is an exercise in willed restructuring of the mind. All attempts to reorganize the mind involve a duality between conditions as they are and the preferred condition. Thus, it is impossible to cultivate any virtue like spontaneity, joy, pious pride, grace, or omnipotence without involving oneself in more conventionality, sorrow, guilt, sin, and impotence in the process. Religions are founded on the fallacy that one can or ought to have one without the other. High magic recognizes the dualistic condition but does not care whether life is bittersweet or sweet and sour. Rather, it seeks to achieve an arbitrary perspective. Rather, it seeks to achieve any arbitrary perceptual perspective at will. That's a mouthful. Any state of mind might arbitrarily be chosen as an objective for transmutation, but there is a specific virtue to the ones given. The first is an antidote to the imbalance and possible madness of the magical trance. The second is a specific against obsession with the magical practices in the third section. They are: number 1, laughter. 2, non-attachment / non-disinterest. Attaining these states of mind is accomplished by a process of ongoing meditation. One tries to enter into the spirit of the condition whenever possible, and to think about the desired result at other times. By this method, a strong new mental habit can be established. I'm really loving this Gregorian chant generated. Let me know if the live is tweaking out, because I think it just told me that the live was disconnected for a second, so forgive me. I plugged Meta Letters on another live earlier today. Your vid's on. Oh, thank you, Dee Dee. That's what I'm talking about. We need them plugs. We need them plugs. Sorry if if the reception's going in and out. Let me know in the comment section if anything is afoot. Consider laughter. It is the highest emotion, for it can contain any of the others from ecstasy to grief. It has no opposite. Crying is merely an underdeveloped form of it, which cleanses the eyes and summons assistance to infants. Laughter is the only tenable attitude in a universe which is a joke played upon itself. Oh, I love it. I do. The trick is to see that joke. The trick is to see that joke played out even in the neutral and ghastly events which surround one. It is not for us to question the universe's apparent lack of taste. Seek the emotion of laughter at what delights and amuses. Seek it in whatever is neutral or meaningless. Seek it even in what is horrific and revolting. Though it may be forced at first, one can learn to smile inwardly at all things. Now, this is one thing I've always been super good at. I feel like my laughter is a defense coping mechanism, but or not, I don't know, or not, or both. But it's always one thing I've been real good at. That was always my superpower. I also love that it acknowledges the horrors of the world, because that's one thing I don't like that a lot of other things I read about. It's like, yo, the world is terrible. It's not our job to, what did it say? It's not our job to judge the taste of the universe. Anywho, non-attachment / non-disinterest. best describes the magical condition of acting without without the lust of result. It is very difficult for humans to decide on something and then to do it purely for its own sake. Yet it is precisely this ability which is required to execute magical acts. Only single-pointed awareness will do it. Attachment to be understood both in the positive and negative sense, for aversion is its other face. Attachment to one's relationships or sensory experiences, or equally, aversion to any of these will prove limiting. On the other hand, it is fatal to lose interest in these things, for they are one's symbolic system or magical reality. Rather, one is attempting to touch the sensitive parts of one's reality more lightly in order to deny the spoiling hand of grasping desire and boredom. Thereby, one may gain enough freedom to act magically. In addition to these two meditations, there is a third, more active form of metamorphosis, and this involves one's everyday habits. However innocuous they may seem, habits in thought, word, and in deed are the anchor of the personality. The magician aims to pull up that anchor and cast himself free of the sea of chaos. To proceed, select any minor habit at random and delete it from your behavior. At the same, adopt any new habit at random. The choices should not involve anything of spiritual, egocentric, or emotional significance, nor should you select anything with any possibility of failure. By persisting with such simple beginnings, you become capable of virtually anything. All works of metamorphosis should be committed to the magical diary. So what I'm learning here is start simple. We'll say this real quick and then we'll keep reading. We only have 3 people in the room, and usually when that happens, it's because my frame rate is dropping out. So let me know if my picture's coming through clear, and I don't know what I'll do about it. But in focusing in refining our laser beam of consciousness visually, we have to be able to imagine an image that is very mundane. Success in this part of the syllabus is dependent on some degree of mastery of the magical trances and metamorphosis. This magical instruction involves 3 techniques: ritual, sigils, and dreaming. In addition, the magician should make himself familiar with at least one system of divination: cards, crystal gazing, rune sticks, pendulum, or divining rod. The methods are endless, with all techniques aimed to silence the mind and let inspiration provide some sort of answer. Whatever symbolic system or instruments are used, they act only to provide a receptacle or amplifier for inner abilities. No divinatory system should involve too much randomness. Astrology is not recommended. Whoa! Astrology is not recommended. Ritual is a combination of the use of talismanic weapons, gesture, visualized sigils, word spells, and magical trance. Before proceeding with sigils or dreaming, it is essential to develop an effective banishing ritual. A well-constructed banishing ritual has the following effects. It prepares the magician more rapidly for magical concentration than any of the trance exercises alone. It enables the magician to resist obsession if problems are encountered with dream experiences or with sigils becoming conscious. It also protects the magician from any hostile occult influences which may assail him. To develop a banishing ritual, first acquire a magical weapon: a sword, a dagger, a wand, or perhaps a large ring. My precious. I lost my spot. The instrument should be something which is impressive to the mind and should also represent the aspirations of the magician. The advantages of hand forging one's own instruments or discovering them in some strange way cannot be overemphasized. The banishing ritual should contain the following elements as a minimum. First, the magician describes a barrier about himself with the magical weapon. The barrier is also strongly visualized. 3-dimensional figures are preferable. See figure 1 on page 20. Second, the magician focuses his will on a visualized image. For example, the image of the magical weapon, or his own imaginary third eye, or perhaps a ball of light, or perhaps a ball of light inside his head. A sound concentration may additionally or alternatively be used. Third, the barrier is reinforced with power symbols drawn with the magical weapon. The traditional 5-pointed star or pentagram can be used, or the 8-pointed star of chaos, or any other form. Words of power may also be used. Fourth, the magician aspires to the infinite void by a brief but determined effort to stop thinking. Guys, mind if I take a break real quick? Can I take a quick 5? How's everyone doing out there? It's like we've honestly, you could stop there and work on those practices for the next 21 days, at least, probably 3 months at least, before moving on. It sounds like the power is the mind. To let us, if I may, to recap, the mind has all sorts of powers, imaginary powers. You can imagine sound, you can imagine sights, you can imagine textures. The mind has the ability to imagine the infinite. However, our imaginations are weak, and in order to strengthen those imaginations, that's where the meditation is. So traditionally we've meditated because we want to peace, or meditate on this object, or meditate on yourself holding a $100 bill and how happy that makes you, from the classics, which I'm sure work to a degree, but you have to train those individual imaginary faculties so that when you try to put it into practice, it's actually worth a damn. For example, you can pick up a bat, or you can throw a baseball. You can pick up a baseball and you can throw it. You can throw a baseball for a year, and sure, throwing a baseball is great and you might develop it, but what's more important than just throwing a baseball? Learning proper technique. How do you hold the ball? What do you do with your feet? How do you step? How do you follow through? What exercises can you do? You do squats. The stronger core you have, as you pull your torso down, the stronger your abs are, the faster you can throw. So you got to do abdominal workouts. This is abdominal workouts for the brain. So we're finally utilizing imaginary strength conditioning in the mundane world first, before trying to visualize yourself driving in a Lamborghini. That makes sense? Like you're trying to get in the ring with Mike Tyson in his prime, and you ain't even done any push-ups? Come on, bro. You don't step into the ring with Mike Tyson unless you're ready to go. In other words, unless you're ready to go. How's everyone doing out there? I'm clear. Wonderful. Thank you. Glad to hear it. Thank you, guys. Ryan, Crystar, Brandy, hello. Rusty, seems it's confused. There's like 10. Oh, it goes from like a dozen to 1, and I think, oh my God, did the live cut out? Anywho. Dee Dee, are you? Oh, Dee Dee, is that? Hold on. There's AI. There's AI on the screen, so you guys know how that is. Gotta step off screen for that. Oh, Alchemy and Darren going live on Patreon. Oh, nice. You're going live on Patreon? Is that the move? What if I was that savage, squad? What if I said, hey, I'm not going live on here anymore. We're doing all my readings on my Patreon, and you have to pay at least $20 a month to get in there. I mean, I wouldn't do that to you guys. It would be awesome if it did. Or maybe that'll be my everyone in this room now gets in for free. How about that? Anyone who comments "let me in for free" gets the backdoor code access. Everyone else, all the newcomers pay $20 a month for the live readings and lectures. Fish gotta swim, birds gotta eat. You know what I mean? Just shoot me a text, Alchemy. Whatever works, brother. We've only been live for 45 minutes. I'd be down to be online for at least 2 hours tonight. So if you want to hop on and whenever, brother, come back in when you're done and shoot me a message. Everyone say hello to Alchemy, by the way. When I imagine something, I can actually feel the elements around me. I thought everyone could. No, we can't, Rachel. You're a wizard, Harry. You're a wizard, Rachel. I do not feel the elements swirling around my brain follicles when I imagine things. That's a superpower, girl. That's a superpower. There are an infinite array of superpower flavors. Like our boy Rusty said, what did Rusty say? He had the gift of visualization, Rusty. Rachel, you got the gift of filling the elements. I don't know what you want to call that. Can we come up with a new word for filling the elements? We all got the thing. I'm not sure what was mine. I don't know what mine is. Oh, earth magic. I like my plants. Do I have the earth bug? Even though my plants aren't even the best plants. I need some oregano tomorrow. Oh, that's not. That's a. That's food cooking. I'm reading a. I'll sign up. Hey, Alchemy. I read this book called Brilliance. It's called the Brilliance trilogy, and people start being born with magical gifts and abilities, and they try to figure out what that ability is. When the children are small, it's arbitrary. They have gifts of music, of speech, of empathy, spatial awareness, math, yeah, like that's, you name it. And now I'm thinking, wow, if that were to happen in this world, Rusty, you'd be like Cyclops. You'd have laser vision. And Rachel, I'm not sure what yours would be. Rachel, you'd be like, what's feeling the elements? Storm? Would you just be our stormcaster? You would feel storms. You would just feel where the animals are. So if the zombies came and we were having to like post-apocalyptic zombie survival, you'd be our sorceress who would say, the herd is south by southwest, south by southeast. Come, come. All right, I'm gonna switch up our tunes and then we'll get back to reading. I'm gonna put on our Darduk. Where is it? Where is it? Ooh, binaural beats. Ambiance. I think it's in the ambiance. Sahara Desert Night. Here we go. Okay, got it. Thank you. About it, and I blew it. But you're gonna be our track. You're gonna track things for us. Wait a minute. Okay, you can stop that. Where's my Darduk at? Spring, desert nights, summer walk, subaquatic dream, African dolphins. Fantasy? Medieval library, magic. Oh, come on, you guys. Where'd our Darduk go? That's our vibe, guys. We can't not do that. Already happened. Hello, everyone. Also, if you're just coming on, my name is Keith. I'm your man of letters, here to bring you guys knowledge, information, hopefully at the very least, a bit of entertainment. And I hope I made your day a little bit better. Right now, we're reading a book on chaos magic, which so far has been refreshing. And now I'm looking for cool background music because I can't find my dodged flute. It's making me kind of sad. Morning forward. That's a landscape. Natural noises. That's not a synthetic. Experimental ambience. Storm. We're almost there. All right. That's not it, but that's all we got. It's got like little drums in the back. What is order magic? Good question, Ryan Christar. I don't think there is. I'm sure there is an order magic. Chaos magic. The term chaos comes from. Correct me if I'm wrong. Comes from the chaos magic practitioners taking bits from everything. They'll take from the Old Testament, they'll take from Siddhartha, they'll take from Babylonian texts, they'll take from Egyptian texts, they'll take from Kukulkan, the homies down in friggin' Mexico texts, they'll take whatever, like the Hawaiians. The chaos magician will take bits and pieces from everything. It's very eclectic, chaos magic. So that's where the chaos comes from. I feel like they should give themselves a better name. I feel like there's a more accurate name. Unless they like that vibe. But, anywho, shall we move on to sigils? Is that Rosicrucians? Sigils. The magician may require something which he is unable to obtain through the normal channels. It is sometimes possible to bring about the required coincidence by the direct intervention of the will, provided that this does not put too great a strain on the universe. Noted. It's all Thanos, no! The mere act of wanting is rarely effective, as the will becomes involved in a dialogue with the mind. This dilutes magical ability in many ways. The desire becomes part of the ego complex. The mind becomes anxious of failure. Soon the original desire is a mass of conflicting ideas. Often, the wished for results arise only when it has been forgotten. This last fact is the key to sigils and most forms of magical spell. We have 11 people in the room and 11 likes, at least on my side. Shout out. Sigils work because they stimulate the will to work subconsciously, bypassing the mind. We talk about this shit all the time, man. This is freaking Maniletta's ground zero, baby. And 12 and 12. The reason why we don't skip on the conscious mind or the subconscious mind is because we use them in tandem. We get that conscious mind to burn an image into the subconscious so that the subconscious radiates it out indefinitely. A word, a method, I wish. Whoa. Time out. Figure 2, creating a sigil by the word method, or B, the pictorial method, and C, the mantrical method, which our boy was talking about earlier. I want to meet Abacus and Dream. Well, that's pretty cool. Here's a list of the spells, of the different forms of sigil. So there's word sigil up on top. And then the next one is, what they call the next one? Pictorial. So the next one's pictorial. And then the last is mantrical, which looks super gangster. I would probably do something like that. And maybe pictorial. Anywho. So in constructing a sigil, the aim is to produce a glyph of desire. Stylized desire, did I read that right? Yeah. A glyph of desire, stylized so as not to immediately suggest the desire. It is not necessary to use complex symbol systems. Figure 2 shows how sigils may be constructed from words, from images, and from sounds. The subject matter of these spells is arbitrary and not recommended. To successfully, I can't talk right now. Blah, blah. To successfully lose the sigil, both the sigil from the consciousness, right? Both the sigil form and the associated desire must be banished from normal waking consciousness. The magician strives against any manifestation of either by a forceful turning of his attention or other matters. Sometimes the sigil may be burnt, buried, cast into an ocean. It is possible to lose a word spell by constant repetition, as this eventually empties the mind of associated desire. The sigil is charged at moments when the mind has achieved questions through magical trance, or when high emotionality paralyzes its normal functioning. At these times, the sigil is concentrated upon, either as a mental image or mantra, or as a drawn form. Some of the times when sigils may be charged are as follows: during the magical trance, at the moment of orgasm or great elation, at times of great fear, anger, or embarrassment, or at times when intense frustration or disappointment arises. Alternatively, when another strong desire arises, this desire is sacrificed, and the sigil is concentrated on this instead. After holding the sigil in the mind for as long as possible, it is wise to banish it by evoking laughter. A record should be kept of all work with sigils, but not in such a way as to cause conscious deliberation over the sigilized desire. I'm sorry I read that so awfully. That was really important too. If I lost you guys, I'm sorry. I lost myself for a second. Sigil work, wonderful, fantastic. Charged at moments of heightened awareness or heightened emotional activity. A little bit of sex magic in there too, eh? It's like we have book clubs, and we might have to have mental gymnast clubs too. We're all waking up at 5 in the morning, and we're gonna start our strength. We're gonna start our strength conditioning for our brain power, our imagination of pictures, our imagination of audio. We're doing it. Tantra. Yes, I may have read this before. Rusty, you've read this before? You can churn it into black salt also. It can be reliable to cover entrances. Rusty, would you like to go live? No, we don't have to do it right now. But we can chat about this. This is my first proper introduction to chaos magic. I will no longer verse myself in an occult science through the internet. Never again. I will not do it through YouTube videos. I will. My source is going to be a book. You know, even me myself, when I make a video on a topic, it's like I have an entire book, but when I make a video, it's 12 to 15 minutes long. There's no way, so there's no way. So this will be my proper introduction. Also, reading feels nice. I've been reading a lot lately, and it's like, I get to relax and meditate and learn some cool shit and be entertained, not be anxious. Anxious all the goddamn time. Dreaming. Next is dreaming. The dream state provides a convenient egress into the fields of divination, entities, and exteriorization or out of the body experience. All humans dream each night of their lives, but few can regularly recount their experiences even a few minutes after waking. Dream experiences are so incongruous that the brain learns to prevent them interfering with waking consciousness. The magician aims to gain full access to the dream plane and to assume control of it. The attempt to do this invariably involves the magician in a deadly and bizarre battle with his own psychic censor, which will use almost any tactics to deny him these experiences. The only method of gaining full access to the dream plane is to keep a book and writing instrument next to the place of sleeping at all times. In this, record the details of all dreams as soon as possible after waking. To assume conscious control over the dream state, it is necessary to select a topic for dreaming. The magician should start with a simple experience, such as the desire to see a particular object, whether real or imaginary, and master this before attempting divination or exteriorization. The dream is set up by strongly visualizing the desired topic in an otherwise silenced mind immediately before sleep. For more complex experiences, the method of sigils may be employed. Oh. A record of dreams is best kept separate from the magical record, as it tends to become voluminous. However, any significant success should be transferred into the magical diary. Though one may get to fear the sight of it, a properly kept magical record is the surest guarantor of success in the work of the Liber. It is both a work of reference with which to evaluate progress and, most significantly, a goad to further the effort. Welcome on in, everyone. We are studying chaos magic. My name is Keith. The initiate syllabuses: 3 degrees IoT, Liber Lux, Liber Nox. Liber is free or liberty, Lux is light, Liber Nox, I think is darkness, right? The magic art may be subdivided in many ways: by the ethical tone of the intent, by the moralistic qualities of the effects, into high and low, and so on. The division favored here is more temperamental. White magic leans more toward the acquisition of wisdom and a general feeling of faith in the universe. The black form is concerned more with the acquisition of power and is reflective of a basic faith in oneself. The end results are likely to not be dissimilar, for the paths meet in a way impossible to describe. Initiates are at liberty to work with material from either or both. The so-called middle way or path of knowledge, consisting of the acquisition of second-hand ideas, is an excuse to do neither and leads to nowhere. That was... okay, now we will begin with... okay, Liber Lux. Being the initiate 3rd degree syllabus of the magical order of the Illuminates of Thanateros in white magic, the subject is divided in accordance with the schema shown in Figure 3, and we discuss the theoretical aspects of chaos, kia, duality, ether, and mind. Duality describes humanity's usual condition. Happiness exists only because of misery, pain because of comfort, good because of evil, yang because of yin, black because of white, birth because of death, and existence because of non-existence. All phenomena must be paired, as the senses are only equipped to perceive differences. The thinking mind has the property of splitting everything it encounters into two, as it is a dualistic thing itself. Yet, there is a part of man which is of a singular nature. Although the mind is unable, although the mind is, oh my God, there's a fellow reggae band that I play with, a sister reggae band, if you will, and their name is Singular Nature. And this is the first time I've ever seen that in text. It's kind of cool. Yet there is a part of man which is of a singular nature, although the mind is unable to perceive it as such. Man considers himself a center of will and a center of perception. Will and perception are not separate, but only appear so to the mind. The unity which appears to the mind to exert the twin functions of will and perception is called Kia by magicians. Sometimes it is called the spirit, or soul, or life force. Kia cannot be experienced directly because it is the basis of consciousness, or experience, and it has no fixed qualities which the mind can latch onto. Kia is the consciousness. It is the elusive I which confers self-awareness but does not seem to consist of anything itself. The lens. Kia can sometimes be felt as ecstasy or inspiration, but it is deeply buried in the dualistic mind. It is mostly trapped in the aimless wanderings of thought and in identification with experience and in that cluster of opinions about ourselves called ego. Magic is concerned with giving the Kia more freedom and flexibility and with providing means by which it can manifest its occult power. Kia is capable of occult power because it is a fragment of the great life force of the universe. Chaos is also the force which adds increasing complexity to the universe by spawning structures which were not inherent in its component parts. It is the force which has caused life to evolve itself out of dust and is currently most concentratedly manifest in the human life force, or Kia, where it is the source of consciousness. Kia is but a small fragment of the great life force of the universe, which contains the twin impulses to immerse itself in duality and to escape from duality. It will continuously reincarnate until the first impulse is exhausted. The second impulse is the root of the mystic quest, the union of the liberated spirit with the great spirit. To the extent that the Kia can become one with chaos, it can extend its will and perception into the universe to accomplish magic. Between chaos and ordinary matter, and between Kia and the mind, there exists a realm of half-formed substance called ether. It is dualistic matter, but of a very tenuous, probabilistic nature. It consists of all the possibilities which chaos throws out, which have not yet become solid realities. It is the medium by which the non-existent chaos translates itself into real effects. It forms a sort of backdrop out of which real events and real thoughts materialize. Because etheric events are only partially evolved into dualistic existence, they may not have a precise location in space or time. They may not have a precise mass or energy either, and so do not necessarily affect the physical plane. It is from the bizarre and indeterminate nature of the etheric plane that chaos gets its name, for chaos cannot be known directly. From the etheric realm of nascent possibility, only what we call sensible, causal, probable, or normal events usually come into existence, yet as centers of Kia or chaos ourselves. We can sometimes call very unlikely coincidences or unexpected events into existence by manipulating the ether. Such is magic. So, I'm going to read that one again. Yet as centers of Kia or chaos ourselves, we can sometimes call very unlikely coincidences or unexpected events into existence by manipulating the ether. Such is magic. Even the physical sciences have begun to blunder into the etheric with their discoveries of... I was just about to ask, I wonder how this plays into that we just were talking about it, the slit experiment, where if you're looking at it, it's a particle, it's actualized material, but without focus, it's back in the ether, it's back in the potential. It's not until the willpower, the focus, the intent, laser beams, into the ether and strikes a wave, and that wave freaks out and becomes born, and it's like, yo, I didn't ask for this. Like, whoa, I was existing in the ether, just chilling infinitely, and now I'm a booger in some dude's eyeball. Like, I did not sign up for this. I did. Dave, did you sign up for the booger in the eyeball? I didn't sign up either. No, none of us signed up, Dave. Why are you yelling at? Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Okay. Such is magic. Even the physical sciences have begun to blunder into the etheric with their discoveries of quantum indeterminacy and virtual processes in subatomic matter. It is the ether which surrounds the central core of the life force, with which the magician is concerned. Its normal function is a kia thought intermediary, yet its properties are so infinitely mutable that almost anything can be accomplished with it. Thought gives it shape, and kia gives it power. Woo! We're gonna have to reread this chapter a few times. Thus are will and perception extended into areas of time and space beyond the physical limitations of the material body. Ether. Science still hasn't figured it out. Rusty. Can science figure out what ether is? It sounds like ether is the thing that purposefully avoids definition, because if it has a definition, then it can't be the infinite. Its nature is to avoid definition so that it can be made capable of being any definition. Is that sort of, I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyway, it is the very mutability of the etheric which has given rise to such a bewildering variety of magical activity and supportive thought forms all over the universe. The differences, however, are only superficial. When stripped of local symbolism and terminology, all systems show a remarkable uniformity of method. This is because all systems ultimately derive from the tradition of shamanism. It is toward an elucidation of this tradition that the following chapters are devoted. I must say I've missed reading with you guys. Oh, my computer's gonna die. Well, that's a perfect time to pause. Can we pause right there before we start our next chapter? I'm gonna get some water and my computer charger. Will give us a new vibe. We'll put on some new music, and take your shoes off, stay a while, pour yourself some water, a glass of wine, some kombucha, a brouhaha, some oregano. I'll be right back. Hi everyone. How's everyone? Zero the Zero to hero. Hello, Zero to Infinite. How's it going? Good evening. Good evening to you. Agree, Rachel? I don't know what she said. She retracted the message. This is related to the order of the Rosicrucian, or the... Nice. Okay, let's... I didn't realize how cold it was out here until I felt how warm it was inside. I almost didn't come back. I almost made myself a margarita and stayed inside and just let my phone on the live hanging out all night. I was just gonna watch... Went to StarCraft, watched a StarCraft tournament with Max Pax and Clem. It was a great tournament. I haven't watched it yet, and I was gonna have myself a margarita. You know what I mean? But I came back. I returned. Yo regresar. What's everyone drinking out there? You guys drinking water? You guys getting plenty of fluids? Talk to me. Did you take the Daduke out? I think they took the Daduke out of here. Oh, that's kind of sad. Ambient, Osmosis, Sleeping Dragon, Subconscious, Twilight, Kalimba, Oblivion, Stardust, Ancient, Casbah, Rock the Casbah, Rock. The Sharif don't like it, down, down. Rock the Casbah. What's a Casbah? Should we listen to that? Is that a sign? We're gonna put on Rock the Casbah. Not Rock the Casbah, but I lost it. Did I just imagine that? Water and body armor juice? What's body armor juice, bro? Dude, put me on that. Can I have some? Decaf and water. Hey, what's Bruce Lee's favorite drink? Loves Brooklyn. Water. Casbah is kind of weird. I don't know if I like Casbah. That makes me feel like I'm watching like a horror movie. I feel like I'm in Saw listening to that. I think they took out our Duke Flute Squad from our my noise sound generator. Sleeping, yeah, I think it's gone. Unfortunately, they replaced it with friggin' Rock the Casbah. Call of the Andes? What's that? Oh no, I found it. Sorry, I was talking shit. My bad. I didn't mean to. It was in the very first category, I guess, because it was popular. So it's... Feeling the spirit. That's all. Jesus. Jesus. Okay, shall we progress into Gnosis? Literally and metaphorically speaking, because the next chapter is called Gnosis. So I wasn't being cute, but I am now. If you would like to progress into Gnosis, I'm also down for that. All the Aries work right here. Okay. Hi friends, I'm cracking up. Oh, thank we're cracking up with you. At least I am. I was gonna say, do I have to shout into the ethers? No. Sorry, I'm going back to comments. Let me just say hi to everyone who's saying hi in the comments, and then we'll begin. Thank you for being here. Thank you too, Rachel. The Creatrix. Is that you, Jaw? I can't blow up your face image. Do I have Creatrix? Hello, Creatrix. Oh, it's me. It is you. Okay. Answer that. Thanks. Water is all I got. The more, no more wine for me. Just water and tea. All right. Forgive me, Creatrix. Okay, I think we're all caught up. Um, it's Jesus did the same thing though. Body armor juices with coconut water. Coconut, what's that? You put the lime in the coconut, drink them both together. I said, doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, doctor, to relieve this bellyache. Now, let me get this straight. Body armor juice uh, is juice with coconut water mixed with it. Okay. What kind of juice is mixed with the coconut juice, or is it just coconut juice mixed with water? I think I'm gets the job done. Cool, got it. Um, this in the background, stop me. It's my favorite. Like originally stopped you, Creatrix? Is this the thing that first lured you in? Come into my lair. This said the spider to the fly. Hi, LJ. Nice to see you. It's been a while. I was running out of letters, so I just put B on. Oh no, it wouldn't. You'll always be a man of letters in my heart, Zero the Infinite. You will. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm rubbing those mushrooms still. Okay, let's proceed to Gnosis, shall we? We'll put our little slider animation on, and also it's so much nice reading to you guys on a physical book than staring at the screen. I don't know. Gnosis. Altered states of consciousness are the key to magical powers. The particular state of mind required has a name in every tradition. No mind. Stopping the internal dialogue, passing through the eye of the needle, ein or nothing, samadhi or one-pointedness. In this book, it will be known simply as Gnosis. It is an extension of the magical trance by other means. Methods of achieving Gnosis can be divided into two types. In the inhibitory mode, the mind is progressively silenced until only a single object of concentration remains. In the excitatory mode, did you just make that word up, homie? In the excitatory mode, the mind is raised to be a very high pitch of excitement while concentration on the objective is maintained. Strong stimulation eventually elicits a reflex inhibition and paralyzes all but the most central function, the object of concentration. Thus, strong inhibition and strong excitation end up creating the same effect, the one-pointed consciousness or Gnosis. Neurophysiology has finally stumbled on what magicians have known by experience for millennia. As a great master once observed, there are two methods of becoming a god: the upright or the averse. Ooh, I like that. There are two ways of becoming a god: the upright or the averse. Let the mind become as a flame or a pool of still water. Water! It is during these moments of single-pointed concentration or gnosis that beliefs can be implanted for magic, and the life force induced to manifest. Table 1 on page 33 shows a number of methods that can be used to attain it. The death posture is a feint at death to achieve an utter negation of thought. It can take many forms, ranging from the simple not thinking exercise up to complex rituals. How complex rituals are we talking about here, Mr. Death Exercise? Are we talking like Thoth? Are we talking Bohemian Grove? Like, to what extent are we doing these death rituals to obtain Gnosis? Peter Carroll? Excuse me, Peter Carroll, are you getting at something here, brother? Anyway, a very fast and simple method consists of blocking the ears, nose, and mouth, covering the eyes with the hands. The breath and thoughts are forcefully jammed back until near unconsciousness involuntarily breaks the posture. Alternatively, one may arrange oneself before a mirror at a distance of about 2 feet and stare fixedly at the image of one's eyes in the mirror with an unblinking, corpse-like gaze. The effort required to keep an absolutely unwavering image will of itself silence the mind after a while. We have some images for the squad. What's cracking? So they have inhibitory mode, physiological gnosis. The inhibitory mode is death posture, magical trance concentration, sleeplessness, fasting, exhaustion, gazing, hypnotic or trance-inducing plant medicines, sensory deprivation, and the excitatory mode, sexual excitation. Big, all right, baby, now allow me to elucidate you. Sexual excitation via excitatory mode for my chaos magic. Emotional arousal, ergo fear, anger, horror, pain, torture, flagellation, dancing, drumming, chanting, right way of thinking, excitatory or disinhibitory plant medications, mild hallucinogens, forced overbreathing, sensory. These are just different categories of the types of physiological gnosi that we can induce. I hope you guys are taking notes, because we're into some nuts and bolts here. Sexual excitation can be obtained by any preferred method. In all cases, there has to be a transference from the lust required to ignite the sexuality to the matter of the magical working at hand. This is crucial. I remember I was doing practicing of sorts in this area, and that was a crucial part of it. The nature of a sexual working lends itself readily to the creation of independent orders of being, evocation. Also in works of invocation, where the magician seeks union with some principle or being, the process can be mirrored on the physical plane. One's partner is visualized as an incarnation of the desired idea or god. Prolonged sexual excitement through kareza, inhibition of orgasm, or repeated orgasmic collapse can lead to trance states useful for divination. Yeah, baby. Reading. What are you doing? That was Atlas. What is the right way of thinking? I think they mean... we were talking about sex magic. It may be necessary. It may be necessary to regain one's original sexuality from the massive fantasy and association into which it mostly sinks. This is achieved by judicious use of abstention and by arousing lust without any form or mental prop or fantasy. This exercise is also therapeutic. Be ye ever virgin unto Kia. That's kind of sweet. The concentrations leading to magical trance are discussed in Liber. Emotional arousal is... I think there's a typo in here. Emotional arousal is a obverse form of this method. Emotive arousal of any sort can theoretically be used, even love or grief in extreme circumstances, but in practice only anger, fear, and horror can easily be generated in sufficient strengths to achieve the requisite effect. The well-known ability of fear and anger to paralyze the mind indicates their effectiveness, yet the magician must never lose sight of the objectives of his working. Nothing is to be gained, or much may be lost by reducing oneself to gibbering idiocy or catatonia. So if we're going for emotional arousal to reach Gnosis, fear and anger are two powerful emotions to induce. However, just like with sexual arousal, when it comes to the actual energy charge, our mind must be focused on the objective. The lust at that point must have been dropped, and therefore the stickiness of the satisfaction of anger and fear must be dropped as well at the hour of climax, whether mentally or physically. Yara? He says, all right. Did you did you hear him? He's all right. My baby Alice is so big now. Sleeplessness, fasting, and exhaustion are old monastic favorites. There should be a constant turning of the mind toward the object of the exercise during these practices. Pain, torture, and flagellation have been used by witches, monks, fakirs to achieve results. Surrender to pain, surrender to pain brings eventual ecstasy and the necessary one-pointedness. However, if the organism's resistance to pain is high, needless damage to the body may result before the threshold is crossed. Dancing, drumming, and chanting require careful arranging and preparation to bring the participants to climax. Lyrical exaltation through emotive poetry, incantation, song, prayer, or supplication can also be added. The whole is best controlled by some form of ritual. Overbreathing is sometimes used to supplement the effects of dancing or leaping. The right way of thinking is not a technique for achieving. Oh, here you go. Here's your right way of thinking. The right way of walking is not a technique for achieving immediate results, but a meditation which helps the mind to stop thinking. One walks for long stretches without looking at anything directly, but by slightly crossing and unfocusing the eyes, maintaining a peripheral view of everything. It should be possible to remain cognizant of everything within a 180-degree arc from side to side, from the tips of the toes to the sky. The fingers should be curled or clasped in unusual positions to draw attention to the arms. The mind should eventually become totally absorbed in its environment and thinking will cease. There's a method of walking at night without being able to see by high stepping and curling your fingers in as you walk, and it's supposed to, read it in a Don Juan book a few years ago. Yep, I'll have to skip that bit. He's also where the term black magic comes from, because he was a black man. Who was a black man? Racist. I'm just kidding. I don't know if I can make those jokes online anymore. I would make those jokes anyway. Gazing is the inhibitory variance of the above technique. The entire attention is directed to the sight of some object in the environment while the body is kept motionless. Any natural phenomenon, plants, rocks, sky, water, or fire may be used. There is no magic drug which will by itself have the required effect. Rather, drugs can be used. I can't be reading this on here. Come on. Rather, plants can be used in small doses to heighten the effect of excitation caused by the methods already discussed. Ooh, I like that. So, it's internally based, and we use the external to fuel the internal. The external, including our favorite ethnobotanical sources, if you catch my drift. I like that. And that would explain why some people do the ethnobotanical things till the cows come home, and you still look at them like, why are you such an idiot? I don't, like, stop. Anywho, I like that. So even our favorite plants should be secondary. In all cases, a large dose leads to depression, confusion, and a general loss of control. Inhibitor. I feel like I've heard some pretty successful stories about Shmeebo gain. You ever heard of Shmeebo gain? Anywho. Inhibitory drugs must be considered with even more caution because of their inherent danger. They often simply sever the life force and body altogether. All right. Sensory overload is achieved when a battery of techniques are used together. For example, in certain tantric rites, the candidate is first beaten by his guru. Hashish is forced down him, and he is taken at midnight to a dark cemetery for sacred sexual intercourse. Thus, he achieves union with his god. I'm gonna read that one in the back, just because I don't know. No, Dave, I'm reading it again. I don't care what you think, Dave. Sensory overload is achieved when a battery of techniques are used together. For example, in certain tantric rites, the candidate is first beaten by his guru or her guru. Hashish is forced down him, and he is taken at midnight to a dark cemetery for sacred sexual intercourse, thus achieves union with his god. I can totally see how those cults can form. Like when you hear about the, can I say schmex, that word? I can see how they form. Like, that sounds kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like with the right person, I guess. I don't know. I could see how you could have a lot of followers. Just a really charismatic dude or gal, and oh man, I might have to write a business proposal. Would that be dark side of chaos magic? Writing up a business proposal for something like that? What if I did that, but I was actually bringing people to union with Source, but the goal was because I just wanted to start my own cult and like build a pyramid. Does it offset? Does one offset the other? I'm joking. Mostly, I'm joking. Sensory deprivation is the essence of the monastic cell, the mountain cave, the walled-up hermit, and the rites of death, burial, resurrection. Much the same effect can be achieved with hoods, blindfolds, earplugs, repetitive sounds, and restricted movements. It is far more effective to completely obliterate all sensory inputs for a short period than to simply reduce them over a longer one. Certain forms of Gnosis lend themselves more readily to some forms of magic than others. The initiate is encouraged to use his own ingenium in adapting the methods of exaltation to his own purposes. Note, however, that inhibitory and excitatory techniques can be employed sequentially, but not simultaneously in the same operation. So just make sure you're not doing. There's sort of internal and external. There's an inhibitory mode and an excitatory mode, ways of achieving Gnosis, and you don't want to do them at the same time. You can alternate, but yeah. And again, to recap, Gnosis was just obtaining an altered state of mind. In case we forgot, with all the stuff in the middle. That's what we're going for. Yay, India magic. Not really, because if it is and it is not, they are still the same. Well, there are good and bad cults, so it's up to you. I would never start to go. I don't think I would ever start a cult. I would want, like, I like the idea of starting a cult. I feel like once it actually got going, I'd feel too much guilt, and I'd be like, "Dang, dude, I don't think I can actually do this." And I'd be like, "Hey guys, I thought this was gonna be cool at first, and it's actually not that cool anymore." I'm not sure what I've gotten myself into. We're in between chapters. How's everyone doing? We are 98 minutes into, or an hour and a half into the live. Nice. This was a decent live. Has everyone been enjoying themselves? I don't remember getting a response on if we should do commentary and reading, so I've been doing commentary and reading. I hope that's okay. I mostly like commentary because I have to learn. That's how I learned. I can't read these books on a live and retain any sort of information. It's like, I don't know if you guys have ever did this when you were in school as kids and you had to read in front of the class and you'd read the page or the paragraph and you wouldn't know anything of what you read. I've gotten much better than that over the course of Man of Letters, but I still don't remember everything. So it helps by saying it again out loud. Oh, thank you, Zero. I I appreciate that sentiment more than you realize. So much so to all just replace the pinned image. But be that as it may, and I hear you, and ultimately that is going to be the decision. I don't. I do want to include you guys because uh, your fun is my fun. You know what I mean? Your fun is my fun. If you guys aren't having fun, I'm not having fun. Like I don't know if you guys have. I play music, and I gig all the time, and if the crowd's not having fun, then I'm not having as much fun as I possibly could because I like the shared excitement is the most excitement. The shared excitement is the amplified excitement, um, which is why I selfishly ask if you guys are enjoying yourselves so that I can enjoy myself more. But it sounds like you guys are down for either or, so we'll do whatever makes the most sense at the time. Whatever's most useful. We'll do it the Taoist way. There is no good or bad. It's whatever is most useful at the time. Oh. I'll just wake up like that. How's everyone doing? You perform Zero the Infinite? See, you get it. You feel me when I dance in front of the crowds. You're a performer. See, performers are that way. Performer, this to a degree is a performance for me, which is why I think I like it so much because I can pretend I'm the characters and I can act out the roles. It's almost it's fun. It's fun. It's like we could keep reading. Call it an even 120 for 2 hours. This next chapter is. You guys have any questions? Should we slap this last chapter? Should we slap this last chapter or what? Oh, thank you, Rachel. Thank you. Can we adjust this slider animation, please? Oh, that's Gregorian. All right, we're gonna change up the music vibe. Everyone that just came in, my name is Keith. Hello. We're reading a book of chaos magic. The nuts and bolts. It's a wonderful starting place. I highly suggest it. A lot of our old friends, and some refined old friends. It's a nice refining of our old friends. Sigils, mental prowess, the proper strengthening of the mental faculties. Broadly speaking of the imagination, and more specifically, our ability to hold an image, our ability in our minds, our ability to hold a sound in our minds, our ability to breathe wonder into the mundane with our minds over a course of time in actual meditations, like you're in actual meditations, not just reading about it in books and shit, but doing the work, and then sort of utilizing that new strength of mental faculty to just, I guess, start building pyramids and shit. I don't know, whatever you want. You could be Darth Vader if you wanted. You could be Yoda if you wanted. Sky's the limit, baby. The atmosphere's the limit. Elon Musk's endless satellites are the limit, I guess, right now. I live next to the Air Force Base. Not next to it, but close enough to see the rockets go off. They look incredible. I don't like them, but they look incredible. They go off like every other week. One went off last night. And how the sonic boom shakes the house. The whole house just boom, and the windows rattle. Dude, the first time it happened, I thought a bomb went off. Like the windows rattle, the floor shakes. the sonic boom from Musk's rockets are on another level. Anywho, we should start. Shall we continue? Read me. I learned how to play the flute for COVID. We're gonna have to do some. We're gonna have to do some flute stuff. Okay, we're moving on to evocation. Evocation is the art of dealing with magical beings or entities by various acts which create or contact them and allow one to conjure and command them with pacts and exorcism. These beings have a legion of names drawn from the demonology of many cultures. Elementals, familiars, incubi, succubi, budwills, demons, automata, atavisms, wraiths, spirits, and so on. Entities may be bound to talisman, places, animals, objects, persons, incense, smoke, or be mobile in the ether. It is not the case that such entities are limited to obsessions and complexes in the human mind. Although such beings customarily have their origin in mind, they may be budded off and attached to objects and places in the form of ghosts, spirits, or vibrations, or may exert action at a distance in the form of fetishes, familiars, or poltergeists. These beings consist of a portion of Kia or the life force attached to some etheric matter, the whole of which may be attached to ordinary matter. Evocation may be further defined as the summoning or creation of such partial beings to accomplish some purpose. They may be used to cause change in oneself, change in others, or change in the universe. The advantages of using a semi-independent being rather than trying to effect a transformation directly by the will are several. Pay attention. Pay attention. The entity will continue to fulfill its function independently of the magician until its life force dissipates. Being semi-sentient, it can adapt itself to a task in a way that a non-conscious simple spell cannot. During moments of the possession by certain entities, the magician may be the recipient of inspirations, abilities, and knowledge not normally accessible to him. Entities may be drawn from three sources: those which are discovered clairvoyantly, those whose characteristics are given in grimoires of spirits and demons, and those which the magician may wish to create himself. In all cases, establishing a relationship with the spirit follows a similar process of evocation. Firstly, the attributes of the entity, its type, scope, name, appearance, and characteristics must be placed in the mind or made known to the mind. Automatic drawing or writing, where a stylus is allowed to move under inspiration across a surface, may help to uncover the nature of a clairvoyantly discovered being. In the case of a created being, the following procedure is used. The magician, I hope we talk about tulpas. The magician assembles the ingredients of a composite sigil of the being's desired attributes. For example, to create an elemental to assist him with divination, the appropriate symbols might be chosen and made into a sigil such as the one shown in Figure 4. A name and an image, and if desired, a characteristic number can also be selected for the elemental. Secondly, the will and perception are focused as intently as possible, by some Gnostic method, which we already went over, on the elemental's sigil or characteristics so that these take on a portion of the magician's life force and begin autonomous existence. In the case of pre-existing beings, this operation serves to bind the entity to the magician's will. This is customarily followed by some form of self-banishing or even exorcism to restore the magician's consciousness to the normal. Before he goes forth. Well, we're getting into some serious juju here, man. Binding spirits to objects, binding spirits, both pre-existing and mentally created, to various talisman to do our bidding. I've been rewatching Supernatural, which is where the name for my YouTube came from, Man of Letters. A man of letters is traditionally a learned man, one who's because not everyone could read. So like, oh, you read, like, oh, he reads. You must be a man of letters. Sort of where that word came from, which has since expanded through the show to just mean someone who the men of letters were a secret society who fought the supernatural. And as a result of fighting the supernatural, they had to study grimoires upon grimoires. They had to read all the ancient texts all over the place. They had to learn about all the spirits of the world so that they could eradicate them if they needed to. That's where my channel name got its name from. Anywho, that's all that was about. Okay, I'm gonna keep reading. Sorry, my computer fan is getting loud, I think. The battery's heating up. Okay. Yada yada yada. Some friends become enemies. Some enemies become friends. Where were we? In all cases, establishing a relationship with the spirit follows a similar process of evocation. Firstly, the attributes of the entity, its type, scope. No, oh, did I already do that? Oh, we already read that. Way off. The entities are here. Okay, we're at self-banishing. An entity of a low order with little more than a singular task to perform can be left to fulfill its destiny with no further interference from its master. If at any time it is necessary to terminate it, its sigil or material basis should be destroyed and its mental image destroyed or reabsorbed by visualization. For more powerful and independent beings, the conjuration and exorcism must be in proportion to the power of the ritual which originally evoked them. So if you're dealing with if you're dealing with Mike Tyson, you're gonna have to pull up a Mike Tyson energetically worthy banishing spell. All right, law of correspondence. Got it. Fair enough. Say less, fam. Continue. Progress into Gnosis, if you will. To control such beings, the magicians may have to re-enter the Gnostic state to the same depth as before in order to draw their power. Any of the techniques of the Gnosis can, in theory, be used in evocation. An analysis of some of the more common methods follows. Theurgic ritual depends solely on visualization and concentration on complex ceremonial to achieve focus. However, the effect of increasing the complexity is often to create more distraction rather than draw attention to the matter at hand. Will becomes multiple, and the result is often disappointing. I feel like he's talking to me right now. Conjuration by prayer, supplication, or command is rarely effective unless the appeal be desperate or prolonged till exhaustion ensues. This type of ritual can be improved by the use of poetic exaltation, chanting, ecstatic dancing, and drumming. Hold on, time out. I'm putting the drum on. That was what I wanted to put on. I want to find some tribal drums. Marimbas? No. I need like a... I'm really enjoying this book. Are you guys enjoying? Thumbs up the video if you guys are liking the video. Oh, you're not gonna let me look up drums, huh? Landscape. Jungle life? What's jungle life? You think that'll pull some drums up for me? Something tells me it won't, but I kind of want to hear what jungle life sounds for. It's actually very serious. Me too. Laughter. That's not just any who works. The Rockets. Considering we live in a giant turtle field and the sky is literally the limit, those rockets are never actually putting satellites anywhere. The true 1%. Oh, good night, Dee Dee. Good night. Good night. Navajo night. Hello everyone. What's Navajo night? You wanna hear some Navajo stuff? That sounds kind of nice. I'd be down for some Navajo stuff. You guys want to hear some? Hello, everyone. Welcome on in. My name's Keith. We're reading Chaos. We're learning Chaos magic. I feel like we're killing it. We're killing it tonight. Jungle life, hurricane, mud pots, landscape, volcanic gardens, reunion, ambience, deep chant, calling our ancestors. I got it, thank you. Magic, Zen garden, throat ensemble. That's interesting. Frogs only? They have a frogs only in here. Conquistadors? Lonesome traveler. Oh, I think I found some. Ionian universe, Phrygian universe, Aeolian universe. Pianoscape has a timer. Guess I can't really find anything that looks tasty. The only thing is I don't want to put... I'm not sure if I can put... I don't want to put anything that's going to flag my video. I can't put something in public domain, you know what I mean? If I put something in... Yeah, I can't do copyright stuff. Oh, the homie Alchemy's hitting me up right now? Dang, I was gonna finish up after this chapter, but maybe we'll keep running it. Okay. Lucien B, hello everyone. Nice to see you guys. We'll run this. This should be fine. I don't think this will be copyright. Dismiss. I feel like a shaman now. Dang, let's run it, baby. So, the theurgic ritual depends solely on visualization and concentration on, we did that one, the Goetic, oh, we're talking about different traditions, nice. The Goetic tradition of the grimoire uses an additional technique, terror. The grimoires were compiled by Catholic priests, and much of what they wrote was deliberate abomination in their own terms. Transport the whole rite to a graveyard or crypt at midnight, and one has compounded a powerful mechanism for concentrating the Kia by paralyzing the peripheral functions of the mind by fear. If the magician can maintain control under these conditions, his will is singular and mighty. It's kind of loud. The Ophidian tradition uses sexual orgasm to focus the will and the perception. It is interesting to note that poltergeist activity invariably centers around the sexually disturbed, usually children at puberty, or more rarely, women at menopause. During these periods of acute tension, intense excitation can channel the mind and allow the life force to manifest frustration outside of the body by hurling objects around. Interesting. So their take on poltergeist is that the poltergeist is an extension of the human consciousness. To perform evocation by the Ophidian method, the attributes of an entity in sigilized form are concentrated on at orgasm and may be afterward anointed with the sex fluids. The process is rather like the deliberate creation of an obsession. If enough power can be put into it, it will be capable of independent existence. Incubi and succubi are pre-existing entities created by other people's pathological sexuality. Incubi traditionally seek sexual intercourse with living females, and succubi with males, often in sleep. However, both forms are almost invariably male, though succubi may make some slight attempt to disguise themselves as females. Unfortunately, they are both predatory and stupid, with little power or motivation for anything but sex. Sacrifice has been used in the past to create fear or terror, or to invoke the gnosis of pain in support of goetic type and evocations. However, this method easily exhausts itself, and the sorcerer may end up wading in oceans of blood, much as the Aztecs did, for very little result. Blood sacrifice is most effective and most easily controlled by the use of one's own blood, which is customarily allowed to fall upon the sigil or talisman of the demon. However, the power to control blood sacrifice usually brings with it the wisdom to avoid it in favor of other methods. He wrote that well. I'm going to read that again. Blood sacrifice is most effective and most easily controlled by the use of one's own blood, which is customarily allowed to fall upon the sigil or talisman of the demon. However, the power to control blood sacrifice usually brings with it the wisdom to avoid it in the first place. Are you talking about like hurricanes? Oh, what's up? You're there, Alchemy. You're there. Let me finish reading this, Alchemy. I'm on the last paragraph. Conjuration to visible appearances to prove to oneself or others the objective reality of spirits is an ill-considered act. Necessary for its appearance will always allow the retention of the belief that such things are the result of hypnosis, hallucinations, delusion. Indeed, they are a hallucination, for such things do not normally have a physical appearance, fair, and have to be persuaded to assume one. Fasting, sleep, and sensory deprivation combined with plant friends and clouds of incense smoke will usually provide a demon with sufficiently sensitive and malleable media in which to manifest an image if commanded to do so. Sounds kind of spooky. The medieval idea of a pact is an over-dramatization, but it contains a germ of truth. All one's thoughts, obsessions, and demons must be reabsorbed before Kia can become one with chaos. However useful such things may be to him in the short term, the sorcerer must eventually recant. All right, we are on to invocation. That's so many symbols, man. Everywhere you look, are symbols. There's so much symbology, and so much symbology can be said and done about this page. Not necessarily from me, but you know what I mean. Oh, what's up, Alchemy? How you doing? Had to banish your friend's succubus. That was wild. A tribe called Red. Yo, Q, that text you. Give me about 15 minutes. How about I just send me the link? Are you talking about like? He can't. I told him there's no proof other than that the haunting stopped. Wow. I haven't had any encounters with succubi that I can think of. Or incubi. Oh, for that matter. Yeah. Yeah. Sitting in a stool for a couple hours days. Yeah. Yeah, gotta limber up a little bit. Hip. Are you guys drinking water and stretching? Well, I'm actually going to call it. Sir Alchemy, if you're on the live, I will text you, and maybe we can hop on tomorrow. No, we can't. I'm doing an early Thanksgiving tomorrow, possibly Tuesday. But hope you guys enjoyed the readings. I'm stoked you guys are here hanging out. I'm happy to have read for you. I hope it made your day a little bit better. If you guys have the means and motivation and you want to do a super chat or a tip, that would be awesome. Or hit the like button, also super cool. Also, get your books and start your journals. That would be a good idea. So we can start cracking here. So we can start building pyramids. I don't know how much of the demon trapping I plan on doing, but we'll see what we can do with some of the other information. It is chaos magic after all. We can leave behind sort of what we want. I wish we could clarify. The demons that could arise and haunt us are coming from us, though, right? Like oh no, there are pre-existing ones too, but it said the pre-existing entities were from other people's creation. So is chaos magic? This is not a rhetorical question. Is chaos magic suggesting that human is source for all spirits and entities by our mental creations, and they exist in the ether? Or at least for the ones that do exist in the ether? Is that what this is getting at? Or other entities that are as conscious as human, but not human, like dolphins, I'm sure, have a certain amount of focus and awareness. Shouldn't that collapse to ether just like ours? It's just a different form. So is it, are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Because we do have a physical body, but are we the only ones that can attain a physical body? Or say the reptilians. What if the reptilians are a etheric spirit that was able to capsulate itself in a physical body and now is equal to human? They're just reptilian creating instead of human creating. You know what I'm saying? And there's probably not humans on other planets, in a galaxy far, far away, right? There's other sentient beings. So where does it end? Or does that mean spirits are not sentient beings? Is that what we're getting at? Is that also what? Does that include angels? And to whose side is this? Chaos theory, or is this just how someone feels when they answer that question? Is there a body of knowledge that speaks on this, and can it be corroborated, or is it Billy Schmo channeling the Pleiadians, and I have to take his word for it? Not that he's not channeling them, I'm not. That's not what I'm getting at. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Disembodied spirits work through physical bodies, reptilian or not. All right, alchemy, I like that. They work through. From this book, though, it's saying they work through us, the other way around. You're saying, remember, they work through us. It sounds like, because I've heard that, it sounds like it's the other way around. Like things extend out from us. We are manipulating, or at least should be manipulating, our little tulpas, our little thought experiments that we want to breathe life to and plug into a talisman and leave it, I don't know, and bury it under a rock at the beach so that it can manifest that beach life, that SoCal beach life for us. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you too, Rachel. Of course. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you. Yeah, it sounds right. Right. Yeah. Disembodied. Yeah. Anywho, there's a huge pot of chicken noodle soup, homemade chicken noodle soup inside on the stovetop as we speak, and it's calling my name. Thank you guys for hanging out, though. It was fun. I'll see you soon. Good night. Peace out, Rachel, Brandy, Rusty, Alchemy. Rachel, I think I said Rachel already. I don't know who else is in here, but if I'm Don Coolio, the homie, Kelly, Lucian. Dang, Dubai Silk Route was here. I didn't even see you, Dubai. My bad. Good night, everyone. Hasta próxima.